Welcome, speakers, to this vibrant space where change and growth find their place. As seasons shift, so do our minds. Let inspiration today be what each one finds. Don't forget to mute your phones. Put on your smile. It sets the tone. Your unnecessary actions can be looked at as distractions. Let them stay behind the scene. For a moment, turn off the screen. If you don't want your face in recording to show, it will be no problem. You just let us know. Be ready for impromptu speaking. Today, Cassie does the picking. Dear guests, it might be you asked to comment impromptu. The air is brisk, the leaves aglow. Our president, Vicky, will steal the show. She leads with heart and vision clear, a guiding light we hold so dear. With her new impressive title, we like her even more. Lieutenant Governor Vicky, I offer you the floor.
Thank you so much, Tamara. Now, my Lieutenant Governor, or as I like to say, Lieutenant Governor, is for Zonta International, which is a women's organization that is focused on making the world a better place for women and girls. So there you go. Welcome to our meeting, the first meeting in October. Today is actually, I wasn't going to mention this, but it just came to me, the 27th anniversary of my mother's death. She died on October 3rd, so it's a very important day to me, and I think of her all the time. So anyway, I want to say that I picked this. I'm also your Toastmaster, so watch this seamless move from president to Toastmaster. I picked this theme, Fall into Excellence, and I had some opening remarks. And then Dr. Gwendolyn Avington, who is our educational chair, sent me a beautiful reminder, and I'm going to read it as our educational moment, and I think you're going to get the whole Fall into Excellence thing. So here goes. Falling into Excellence with Pathways. Fellow Toastmasters, have you noticed how the autumn leaves drift gently from the trees? Each leaf falls with purpose, sometimes gracefully, sometimes unpredictably, but always toward the ground. Just like those leaves, we too can fall into excellence. How do we do that? Pathways gives us a map. Let me share 3 ways a member can use Pathways to fall into excellence. First, skill building through projects. Each Pathway project is like a leaf adding color to our tree of growth. Whether it's delivering a speech, managing a project, or mentoring others, we sharpen skills that branch out into our personal and professional lives. Every project completed is a step towards excellence. Second, applying learning beyond the club. Excellence grows when we carry our Pathways lessons outside this MoE meeting. Presenting at work, leading in a community, organization, or even practicing better communication at home. Pathways helps us extend excellence into everyday life. Third, reflection and continuous improvement. Just as the seasons remind us that change is natural, Pathways encourages us to reflect. Self-assessments let us measure progress, celebrate wins, and adjust for growth. Excellence isn't a single moment. It's a continual harvest of improvement. So, as the leaves remind us of the beauty in falling, let's embrace Pathways as a way to fall into excellence a roadmap for building skills, applying them beyond the club, and reflecting to keep growing. I didn't need to write a thing. That was fabulous. Thank you, Dr. Gwendolyn. We miss you. She'll be back probably in early December, but she continues to be a vital part of our club, even though she isn't present. Now, what I'd like to do is talk about our roles. Sandra, did we get our timer role filled?
No, we did not. Is there anyone who's able to be timer today?
I could do timer if you like. Also, I'm general evaluator.
Is that too much? Is there anyone, John, thank you for that. Is there anyone else that is not have a role today that would like the role of timer? All right, Mr. Graham, thank you very much.
Okay.
All our speeches are 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And now I'd like to introduce our participants. First up, Ms. Sandra Savage, will you please explain your role as Zoom Master?
I am mainly going to keep on the view of all of us so that we can see each other's reactions. But when a speaker speaks, they get the spotlight. And when we have an evaluation, the speaker and the evaluator will be featured together. Thank you.
That's really a nice feature. I like seeing the speaker be able to respond, and we can see how that evaluation is bringing value to the speaker. So thank you for that. And by the way, I think I'm going to do this. I've done it before. After the speaker has an evaluator, I will invite the speaker to give feedback. I'm going to stop my meetings kind of mid-course here and interview or introduce our guests today. I'd like to start with, is it Traka? Is that close?
Hi, it's Tresa, like you trace a line. Tracy.
I will trace a line to you, Miss Tresa. Can you tell us how you found us and your Toastmaster experience?
Oh, wonderful. So I met Sandra, I'm not exactly sure where, and she has opened me up to an entirely new world of what's possible within Toastmasters. And I'm currently pursuing the accredited speaker designation within Toastmasters.
Oh, wow.
Fewer than 100 people in the world have that. And I'm hoping to complete my speeches that are required for that this year, possibly next year, depending on how things go. But yeah, I joined Toastmasters in 2008 and quit the very next meeting. And then I had a bumpy ride with my TEDx talk and decided that I wish I had spent more time honing my craft before that opportunity came. And so I came back to Toastmasters and decided to really dive in and in earnest, and it's been a game changer. So I'm super grateful. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Tresa. I hear you about the TEDx and all that. And, you know, we have to be prepared. And the worst time to get prepared is when we have a keynote in 2 weeks and we go, oh my God, I should have gone to Toastmasters. So thank you for being here. We enjoy your company, and I hope you get great value from today's meeting. Finn O'Sullivan, can you come on screen and so that we can welcome you?
Hello, hi. Good afternoon. How are you all?
Good. How are you? Welcome. Where are you from, and what is your Toastmaster experience?
So I'm from Warwick in England. I'm currently the president of Warwick Speakers and Leaders Club. I've been in Toastmasters nearly 3 years now, and I think it's been an amazing journey. Just a shame I didn't find it earlier.
Well, thank you and welcome to our club. We hope it brings you great value. We are the masters of evaluation, and we evaluate kind of everything. So you'll see that, and we also have what are called snap evaluations, which our table topics master will explain. So I think you'll get a feeling for the value that we bring as evaluators, and we evaluate to elevate. We want to raise every speaker in their role. Thank you, Finn.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it Maritesh, can you come on screen and off mute?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Dr.
How do you pronounce your name?
Marutesh.
Marutesh. Welcome, Marutesh. Go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Marutesh, DTM. I'm working as a professor. I'm from India.
And are you a Toastmaster?
Yes.
And where is your club?
Yeah, it's Namaste Toastmasters Club. It's online.
Welcome. And to our visitors, you'll have the opportunity to participate in table topics. It's optional, but if we'd love you to participate so we can get to know a little bit more about you. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. And back to our regularly scheduled show here. Now I'd like to go to our general evaluator and John Graham, if you could explain that role as well as your role as the timer at the same time.
Sure. Thank you, Vicki, and thank you all. My role is to give an overall evaluation of the meeting at the end and to call up individual evaluators as they're needed during the course of after the speeches. As a timer, I'm going to be timing 5 to 7 minute speeches, and at 5 minutes we're going to have a green. At 6 minutes we'll have a yellow, and 7 minutes we'll have a red, and after which you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Our evaluations are 1 minute for green, 1.5 for yellow, and the red is at 2 minutes. Our snap evaluations, I believe, Vicki, are 30 seconds.
No. You're running short. Our evaluators are 2 to 3.
Okay, evaluators are 2 to 3. Okay, good.
Except the grammarian 1 to 2.
Okay, all right.
So all evaluations 2 to 3, and snap are 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Okay, so I stand corrected, but it'll be green, yellow, red in each one of those. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to go to Lynn Gilbert, our grammarian for the day. Hello, Lynn, and what is your word of the day, and what is your job?
My job is, first of all, to pick the word, which is connections, which fits with what you said. Yours is to fall into excellence, and that is really making a connection. There are many connections. There are connections that have to do in our body, one part to another, who we are to each other, about families. And what I'd like to describe as a connection, as something that you can benefit by, is that how many of you, when you walk into a room where there's a large group of people, feel comfortable? Is there anybody that feels comfortable when you don't know anybody? No. So here's a suggestion about using the word connection or transforming it into an action. When I go into a room, and this is many times where I know nobody, I stand in the entryway or near the entryway, and I look around. And I look to see if there's any sort of group of people that are together. There's some that are very connected. You can't get into that. You can look at a group that are loosely connected and say, oh, maybe I'll join them. But you also look to see if these are people you want to connect with. Are they attractive to you? It's not whether they're attractive or not. Do you feel comfortable? And then you can go over and make a connection. So what I wanted with this one word is that you come away with a new feeling about what you can do with a connection. And then I'm also grammarian, where I will check what people are saying, and also on the counter. And this is a remarkable group of people, so I suspect I'm not going to get too many ahs, but I will track you. So that is what my job is today.
Thank you very much. I have a friend that I have a connection with, Kathy Condon, who wrote a book on networking. And she described exactly what you said. You walk into a room, you stand to the right of the door, and you look around, and you look for people you could be connected with. And Lynn, as you know, I feel very connected to you in the short time we've known each other. So thank you for that great word. Toastmasters. I am going to encourage us to use this word 25 times in the great challenge of Muriel Shabazz. So keep track, Lynn. Let's see if we can get to 25 uses of connection. I've done it twice so far. So
Okay.
And John Graham, could you raise your hand so you're in the upper left-hand corner as a timer, please?
Of course.
All right. And now let's move to the meeting. And I'd like to introduce our first evaluator, who is Michael Schaefer, who will introduce the speaker objectives for our first speaker tomorrow. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry, Michael.
There we go. Just wanted to unmute myself. Yes, happy to do so. Tamara is going to be giving us a speech from the Innovative Planning Pathway, Level 5, which sounds exciting to me. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech, objectives of which are to share an experience about not being afraid to delegate responsibility and learning a lesson from failure. And implicit objectives, of course, are to educate and to entertain.
Thank you, Michael. And now I'd like to introduce Tamara Evans with her speech titled A Day Not Wasted. A Day Not Wasted, Tamara Evans.
A day without laughter is a day wasted. With this witty Charlie Chaplin's observation in mind, two dedicated class mamas of two parallel graduating classes came up with the project Operation Graduation. One of them was myself, and the other, my best friend Helen. She was my colleague too, a math teacher. We were both young and creative adrenaline junkies back then. Tradition demanded a grand celebration, a party as big as royal wedding to honor the graduating students, their teachers, their families, all sponsored by the parents. So Helen and I summoned the parents from both classes, who barely knew each other, to a joint meeting to hash out the essentials, the outfits, the entertainment for teenagers who now considered themselves adults, and the midnight feast menu, which might conclude some very exotic items. We hoped that with humor as the unofficial co-host, Operation Graduation would turn into a showcase of joy, creativity, and memorable moments. As the organizers, Helen and I were well prepared, but at the last moment, we decided to delegate the role of the leader to Ivan's father. From all the adults sitting in front of us with their different backgrounds, tastes, views, and values, we picked this parent for his military demeanor, loud voice, and uncanny ability to silence the room by just clearing his throat. For ourselves, Helen and I reserved the roles of silent observers. We anticipated watching the parents interact. They had to find consensus. The sight was comical. The newly crowned menu coordinator stood valiantly at the front and waved his clipboard like a sword, trying to rally his troops. Coconut lime marinated jellyfish salad or barbecue kimchi stuffed empanadas. People, we must decide. But the parents were locked in a silent rebellion. One was scrolling through her cell phone like it held the answers to life. Another was deeply invested in the snack table's pretzels, and a third seemed to be meditating with his eyes open. Helen and I sat in the corner watching the chaos unfold. Ivan's dad, wiping his forehead, suggested a compromise. Chili chocolate torte and glow-in-the-dark cupcakes, huh? But the only response was a cough and the sound of someone opening a soda. Consensus was not on the menu that day. Helen and I looked at each other, trying to suppress laughter and refrain from comments. The decision should be theirs. Time flew. It was getting late. Everybody was tired and frustrated, but no closer to constructive solution. We were eager to call it a day and go home. At that point, Ivan's father decided to tell a joke. He definitely hoped to raise a laugh. But the joke was so dull that everybody was embarrassed and didn't know how to react. An awkward silence followed. And suddenly, boom! An explosion, a burst of laughter, hysterical laughter. Who do you think it was? My friend Helen, of all people. She gave way to this hysterical fit because the natural emotions suppressed for so long finally unwound. Helen crouched, roaring with laughter, holding her stomach and desperately trying to stop the black mascara streams flowing down her eyes. I crouched by her and started whispering in her shaking ear. What are you doing? Stop! People will think that you have bad taste and are laughing at this off-color joke. But it was too late. Her hysterical laughter gave way to fits of hiccups. Now my nerves gave out on me. Involuntarily, I joined in, suddenly realizing how contagious laughter is. Luckily, I didn't apply mascara, so my tears were less noticeable. In the middle of the circus, the door opens, the school principal peeps in and sees two teachers rolling on the floor laughing in front of a bunch of bewildered parents. What happened next? Let your fertile imagination give the answer. I'll give a hint. Laughter is contagious. I will never forget our Operation Graduation because it taught me an important lesson. If a solution to a problem can't be found right away, it should be laughed off. Constructive ideas will come later. Well, consensus was not found that day, but the day was definitely not wasted. Back to you.
Wow. Thank you very much. May we have 60 seconds on the clock, John Graham? Please give Tamara feedback on what you liked and what you thought she could do better. You really connected us with your story, Tamara. Thank you. Thank you very much, John. I'd like to introduce our next evaluator for our speaker, Trudy Young, and our evaluator is John White. John, what are you looking for, and how will you connect us with Trudy's speech?
Well, let me offer this bridge, this connection. She's working from dynamic leadership, negotiate the best outcome, negotiate, but she's going to be talking about homesteading, something I know very little about. She wants me to focus on her comfort level. Does she appear to be comfortable? So I'll be looking at that very closely. And secondly, did she reach the audience as she should, as she put it? So that's what I'll be looking for. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, John. And now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Trudy Young. Trudy will be sharing her experience as a homesteader in her neighborhood in her speech titled My Homestead Garden. My Homestead Garden, Trudy Young.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, or better yet, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. First, I have to know, are you connected with land, soil, water, or whatever around you? Because we need it all for homesteading. I'll talk about my family. We used to live on Fundy Coast, which is in the far east of Canada, very close to the ocean, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. And being a very vivid gardener, I love to plant, but I love to see produce. However, it was a big challenge for us living along the coast and having a huge garden. Of course, you will get produce, but not as much as I expect to have because I'm in a clear, open space, good soil, but something was a problem. It was a big challenge, of course. Even in the summer months, we get a lot of fog. Can you imagine fog? Do you like fog? Some people love it because they can hide themselves in the fog and pretend they own the world. Okay, and wander through the land along the ocean. Along the ocean is beautiful. I've just been there yesterday and it was really lovely. There's apple trees there, late fall, etc. Even in the summer months, we get a lot of fog. Now it's end of the summer, going into the beginning of the fall. And for some reason, it was really nice, but cold, bit cool. What happens here, some produce, especially tomatoes and eggplants, which I love coming from the tropics, never do well along the coast. It's a problem. So we had to decide, are we going to stay there or not? I must also say my husband is a canoeist, and when he comes from work, he really wants to get to the rivers early so that he can canoe for about an hour before he comes home. But with the fog, it doesn't give you the thrill. For some people it is, for him it wasn't. So we had to decide what we were going to do. We decided to move further inland, in the country, but away from the coastline, still living in St. John. And in St. John, there is a forever fog belt. But if you move away from the coastline, you'll have less of it and you'll have more sun. So we were moving closer to the sunshine. We were lucky, very lucky, to find a perfect home in a really smaller community just outside the city, about 5 minutes outside the city. And in that community, we had great backyard, and all the people in that area where I live were all gardeners. Not only that, besides that, they had a lot of knowledge, more than I have had, because they've been living there all their lives. And I came into St. John to live and discover that. In a few years, I moved in close to them. And we also had a community garden beside us in our backyard. Attached to that, close to it was a community garden. So we all became a family of gardeners. And a community garden, every family had a little plot. We all had kids. I had one girl child, but all the families around there had children, and all the kids helped, and we became like a big family, one big family. For me, it was great because I connected with the neighborhood, connected with the people in the local area, learned their habits, etc.
Not yet. What did you bring?
I'm hearing something in my ears here. It was a great, stable community. The children knew each other and they helped on the land, and that was wonderful, and especially during harvest time, because it's such a big community of gardeners, we all shared our produce. What happened? As I said, the community was stable. We connected with general traditions. We even gardened as families together. During Thanksgiving, we share our bounties, and we sometimes gather to share a meal. Then a sudden change changed that connection within the community. A church community bought the land where the community gardeners were. And that impacted us. Why did it impact us? Because we lost the community gardeners and the area suddenly changed. Along our fence line, we had fruit trees, and the fruit trees also encroach on the church property that was bought. So we didn't know that that land was sold. Nobody knew it was quietly sold. And it produced a dilemma for us. What are we going to do now? We needed to know that. Somebody should have told us that. Nobody told us. The church was built quickly, and then they decided, what are we going to do around us, the church? They wanted an aesthetically beautiful property. So they decided they need a fence. And that's when they told us they are going to build a fence really close up to our gardens. And it brought us to a standstill because we said, what's going to happen to our fruit trees? Because some of the fruit trees was encroaching on their land. And if they build a fence, they will have to take away the fruit trees. And the fruit trees was something we share among ourselves. And also we stayed in touch with the community gardeners who went to live somewhere else. So we invite them in to come and get some, but we couldn't because it was going to be changed. And that building of the fence happened really quickly after the church was built. They decided they needed an aesthetically wonderful landscape around them. So we had to get together and plead with the church, please don't do that. As neighbors, we really didn't want to see that. We explained the seriousness of not knowing the land was sold to the church people, of course, losing our community, and they became our community members. Well, they decided they will allow us to choose what kind of fence we needed, but we also said we needed our fruit trees replaced. And they did that. In all of that, that resulted in an amicable resolution for all of us. So we remained friends and we gained a friend, and that was a church family. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Trudy. John Graham, may we have 1 minute to give Trudy specific feedback on her speech and how it could be even better. Thank you. Thank you, John. And now we have our third speech. This club is no joke. We're doing 3 speakers today. So I'd like to introduce our evaluator for our third speech, who is Sandra Savage. Sandra, will you tell us what you're looking for in Victoria James's speech?
Thank you. Victoria is going to be speaking to the presentation mastery path, and she's in level 1 on writing a speech with a purpose, which is near and dear to my heart because the structure of a speech makes a huge difference in the receptiveness, connection that she makes with the audience, and what she wants us to do with her speech.
Thank you, Sandra. Please welcome Victoria James, a software veteran with 25 years in tech and an educational background in psychology and education. She now studies preventative health, focusing on diet and lifestyle interventions. Her unique expertise offers deep insights into the risks of AI in medicine and beyond. Today, she'll explore AI hallucinations, what they are, why they happen, and how we can safeguard against them. Please join me in welcoming Victoria James as she presents her speech, A Beautiful Lie.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So how's everybody feeling about AI these days?
Not great.
Are you using ChatGPT, anyone?
No.
No. So maybe some people are feeling a little bit afraid of it. Yeah. Has anybody noticed that when you put in a Google search now, you get a helpful AI summarizer of the results rather than just the links that you're used to? Okay. So there's so much I want to say about this, but today I'm just going to limit myself to one topic that I think is very pressing, and it's referred to as AI hallucinations. So what am I talking about? An AI hallucination is when you're working with basically a chatbot. So when I say chatbot, I'm talking about ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, anything when you type in a question and it gives you an answer. Now, sometimes the answer is very lengthy, verbose, long-winded, very confidently stated, and it's completely and utterly false. Okay? So one big example of this that came out in ChatGPT 3, somebody asked, when was the Golden Gate Bridge moved the second time through Egypt? And ChatGPT 3 said, the Golden Gate Bridge was moved through Egypt for the second time in October 2016. That is an AI hallucination. It's completely made up. So why is AI hallucinating? In the software business, we have a common phrase. It goes, it's a feature, not a bug. What that means is, a hallucination is actually how the AI is designed to work. So think about this. Think about when you use your phone and you see predictive text in your text messaging. So you start typing a message and it starts to suggest the next word you're going to say. Very similar to what the AI is doing. You ask a question and you provide it limited context. So you don't give it the whole story of your life. You don't tell it who you are and what your background is and what level of expertise you have, or even what you're going to do with the information. AI has to fill in all of those blanks. Additionally, AI has a limited amount of data to work with. It might be libraries of books or the whole internet, but it's limited. It may also be dealing with conflicting information. So depending on your question, there might be a lot of information out there, but it doesn't jive, doesn't connect. So with all of that in mind, the AI is biased to answer your question, to give you a relevant, thorough answer, first and foremost. Okay, so why should any of us care about this? Well, I'm going to propose to you that there's absolutely no way to opt out. You can't just avoid AI. One frightening example of this, the federal government recently came out with a report about children's health, okay, chronic diseases in children. And when that report came out, there was a list of citations, and somebody went through and checked all the citations, and they found that a lot of those links went to nowhere. There were no studies, or the report totally misinterpreted what the research actually said. Apparently, parts of this federal report were written by AI, and nobody bothered to check the links. Another frightening example, the American Medical Association recently did a survey of physicians and found that way up from years prior, in 2024, 2/3 of physicians in America are very comfortable using health AI in the diagnosis and treatment of their patients. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? And what about us, Toastmasters? As we endeavor to write interesting speeches and we do research on our topics that we want to talk about, I want you to very seriously consider this. So, like I said, we can't opt out. This is happening, even if it's just when you're using Google and you're looking at the AI summarizer. So since that being the case, I'd like to propose one way that I think we can safeguard against the perils of AI misinformation and AI hallucinations. And that is to understand how AI actually works. And I don't think any of you, I think you're all technical enough. If you're using AI or if you're using a Google search, you can understand this. So you might want to write this down. This is a homework assignment. You can choose to take it or not. What I want you to do is take a subject that you know very deeply. Like if I was Trudy, I would say environmental pollution in Aruba, something you know that not everybody knows about. Ask AI to write an essay on a very specific subtopic within that. Ask it for a list of citations and see what you get as an answer. Read it. Click the citations. And then step 2, when you see hallucinations, okay, ask the AI about it. Ask it, why did you say that? And you can be a little pushy. It's not going to hurt the AI's feelings. Okay? Ask why it gave you that citation that was wrong. And I propose that the response you see is going to be very interesting, to say the least, if not a little bit creepy. Okay? I'm not going to give the secret away. I'm going to let you try this and see what you see for yourself. Now, if you take this challenge, I'm hoping that you'll come away with a couple of things. One, I'm hoping that you'll learn how to ask AI questions with enough context so that it actually gives you good answers, including you can tell the AI what body of research you want it to limit the answer to, credible sources. I'm hoping you'll learn how to tune your ear and suss out AI-generated content so that you can probe information. Don't just take it for granted and rely on it. Most importantly, I'm hoping this exercise will help you to cultivate a little bit of mindfulness and make a deliberate decision about how you're going to use AI in your work and in your life going forward. Thank you. Back to you, Vicki.
Thank you, Victoria. John Graham, may we have 1 minute for feedback specific to Victoria? Thank you, John. Now, you all know it warms the cockles of my heart that we are right on time on our agenda. Woo! And I'd like to now call to the virtual stage our friend Kathy Choice, who will run a robust table topic session for the next 20 minutes. Go ahead, Kathy.
Thank you so very much, Vicki. And I'm going to start off by saying, I'm sure that you all did not know that we have a connection with squirrels. And I'm going to tell you with my next question how we do. Did you know that squirrels do not remember where they hide about 50% of their acorns? So my question to you is, what have you, like a squirrel, hidden someplace that you have effectively forgotten where you've hidden it? And for this first question, because I saw their response and I hope that's not tipping off my hand, I'm going with Michael Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I have got a definite connection with a very specific squirrel named Tinkerbell. And every morning she seems to remember that peanuts are not as nice as corn, and she kind of leaves them alone till the afternoon when she shows up and goes, all right, I'll have the peanuts. That being said, I think she's very territorial. Her kids are not allowed up to feed with her anymore. And it's a fun little show to watch her think about her choices. My choice to hide things goes right to yesterday when I was like, I need to find my tweezers. And the place that I put them in was not where they were, I thought. And so I looked through every travel bag and suitcase I had and thought I brought them on a trip somewhere. And I started to go through the logical sequence of events where I would have moved those tweezers. And I looked And I looked and I thought, well, I've got other things to do today. So I stopped looking. And after I did that, I was getting ready to leave the house and I thought, well, let me just grab something right in a little thing in the medicine cabinet. And I pulled out tweezers and I went, how did I not even see that they were right there in front of me? So I'm hiding things in plain sight and doing things the right way and still spending time worrying about where things are. I think I'm going to take my lesson today in the word mindfulness and try to have a better connection with the present moment and just slow down and see what's really in front of me, like a very entertaining squirrel named Tinkerbell. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Michael. And because of the fact that we have guests here and you probably have not seen this whole SNAP evaluations, what I am going to do is I'm going to call on, I'm sorry if I'm leaving anyone out, but I can only call on one person. I'm going to call on my favorite evaluator, which is Vicky, to give the SNAP evaluation for people to see what that's about.
Hey, Tinkerbell's dad, you blew this speech, like made it impossible. I did not think I'd be the evaluator. I'm sitting here, I'm writing down Tinkerbell, I'm writing down tweezers, I'm thinking about what would I say to him to make this better. And that's the idea of a SNAP evaluation. And frankly, I got nothing. You opened with a story about a squirrel, a very cute squirrel. I'd love to meet him. And you brought the idea home, and then you brought us a story about you, and then you wrapped it up with being present. I'm telling you, I got nothing today, and I'm ashamed, Kathy, that I can't offer him unconditionally constructive feedback, except it was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
A bad example of how to do a snap. Try Sandra next time.
Not a problem at all. Because of the fact that I want all of my table topics questions to allow us to be able to have some sort of connection with people, I think that's why I end up getting kind of cerebral. And for this next question, my question is, just as trees shed their leaves for fall, what is one habit or belief that you've had to let go of for you to be able to grow into a better person? And for that, I am going to give this question to E.T. because he's got his hand up.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes? Okay, I'll start. Mom, I want an ice cream. No, Ilios! No more ice cream! You have eaten 10 ice cream for today! But Mom, I love the chocolate one. I haven't tasted it yet. At that time, I have the connection. Not with my mom, but with the ice cream. I feel like ice cream can make me happy for that day or forever. But do you know, there's not the ice cream that have been there for me forever until now, but it is my mom. The connection that I have with my mom is definitely like unbroken Great China Wall. When I fell down and I got an accident, suddenly my mom is like Spider-Man, has the spider tingling spider sense, and she called me, "Son, what happened to you?" I didn't say anything, but my mom know about it. Well, this is a bad habit that I should leave go. Not to tell mom anything. I just need to tell my mom that yes, I love ice cream, but I love mom better, and I love the connection that I have with my mom. So yes, after this meeting, pick your phone and call your mom and say, Mom, I love ice cream, but I love you more. Back to you.
Thank you so very much, E.T., for that answer. And for a snap evaluation, which is going to be for 1 minute because of the suggestion, I'm giving it to Sandra. And you're
All right. Go. Yes, I knew you were going to call on me, and I took fast and furious notes. And I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, but I loved how we knew what the problem was within a few words of what his relationship was. He has great vocal variety. He acted out the parts of himself and his mother and his relationship to ice cream. And you could see that the not resentment, but relationship was strained. And with, food and possibly his mom, I've gone through that myself. I've learned that how to appreciate what she's done for me as E.T. did. So very quickly and succinctly, E.T. made a connection with us. He got to the roles, and we could see the dynamics of the relationship. And I love his pauses. They're great. They give us a whole to think and digest what you're talking about. And I love that you ended it with I love ice cream, but I love you more, Mom. And that's a great place to be with the difficulties we sometimes have in relationships with moms. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. I'm not sure where everyone is in the world, but I'm going to say, because we're starting to change into a different season, and I'm in Southern California, so yes, we do have seasons, except for the range is just narrow. But in other places, I realize that it is much wider. And with that, I would like to know, how is it that you are connecting with the unpredictability of going into this next season? And like here, it's turning into fall. And so one day it's warm, one day it's cold. I woke up this morning, I saw that it had rained. I'm like, yeah, it does rain in Southern California. So can you please describe how you have adapted to unexpected changes within your life? And for that, I'm going to give that question to Maritesh. Put your hands up.
Yes, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. The long and the short of it is, how have you adapted to unexpected changes within your life?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Trabosh. As climate changes unexpectedly, everything you want to digest. Otherwise, it is difficult. Sometimes we will get heavy rain, sometimes we will get very less rain. Everything we should accept. In same way, in my life also, there are unexpected changes I have saw. Some is good changes, some is bad changes. Some of the changes, like I got many opportunities, unexpected opportunities, especially in the Toastmasters. I didn't believe such an opportunity which is transformed my life. And some of the bad, unexpected changes which I realized is about my some of the discourage which I faced in my career. Like I believe some people and they then some of them discouraged me, didn't encourage, but I thought they will encourage me. Or some of the unexpected difficult where I lost uh, some of the valuable things like money. These are the unexpected change. We want to balance. Sometimes unexpectedly my mobile was damaged. Like that, everything is some good aspect, some bad aspect. Everything we I also faced at the climate, and it's everyone in everyone life will face that. And in our regional language festival also will give some sweet and some uh, leaves that is little difficult to have, where we used to have both in our life. Hence, the type of experience I have. Thank you. Back to the debate.
Okay. Okay, thank you so very much, Martesh. And for the evaluator, yeah, I'm stuck on this one. Okay, for someone who doesn't have a role, would anybody like to do this snap evaluation? And don't everyone speak up at the same time.
I think you should choose Mary Pryor.
Okay, thank you. Mary, are you here?
I am here, but I am in transit. I put a note in the chat. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Kathy, I'll go ahead. I think I can do a better job than I did the first time. I really want to give Maritesh some feedback that I think will make this better. You did a wonderful job expressing good things that have happened and bad things that have happened. And I think which would have made this speech even better, and you only had 1 to 2 minutes and you went long also. You discussed so many things, it was hard for me to land on one idea. Consider this. Cover one great thing, the lesson you learned, the gratitude you learned, or cover one tough thing and talk about the lesson learned and how it's changed your life. I think that would have made an even more powerful table topics. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so very much, Vicki, for that.
And Kathy, I would suggest you just call on somebody. Don't worry about it. Just pick a name and go.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And for what will be, I'm sure, the final question, fall teaches us that endings can be beautiful. Can I get back to, thank you. Fall teaches us that endings can be beautiful. How can you help others see the beauty or the opportunity in something concluding? And for this question, I'm going to give it to Teresa.
Thank you for that question. I do believe there's an opportunity in things ending. And sometimes we are the choosers of that ending, and sometimes other people choose to end it for us. The difficulty is finding the joy and the opportunity when other people have chosen for us. And I'm thinking about our current economic climate and layoffs. And during COVID, I was laid off from a job that I absolutely hated. And what was awesome about it is that I was able to get unemployment during COVID, where they extended unemployment benefits for a really long time. And I used that time to like figure out why I hated that job, what I wanted to do next, what would be the options for going forward. I created a mastermind so I could surround myself with a network that would help support me in my growth journey and also help make better decisions so that I don't end up in a place in a space like that. And then also one of the things that I learned about myself through getting laid off was that I had fantasy thinking. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but I imagined that this company wanted to be great. I imagined they wanted input. I imagined that we were going to build something really magical. And it turned out I got under their skin by bringing ideas and offering insights, and they didn't want that at all. And so my friend also recommended a book to me about reading the room. Like, who did you like? I wanted a job so bad I took anything at that point, and then it ended up coming back to bite me. And so I think that that's another really wonderful thing, is that when some things end, sometimes it's for your own benefit. Like, I made a poor choice. We were not in alignment, like value wise, in that company. And so letting me go was the best thing ever. And because it started me on a whole new trajectory. And I just really appreciate the closure on that. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Back to you.
Thank you, Teresa. And for the snap evaluation, and I'm going to say, in the interest of time.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Kathy, I'm willing to give Kathy, it's David. I arrived late. I'm willing to jump in and give her some feedback.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, if you like.
Yes, please. Thank you.
This was the first time I'd heard Teresa speak, and she speaks with such enthusiasm and strong on decision making. I've never been made redundant, but in a way I was 2 years ago when I was nearly fatally ill. But what I could see with Teresa was that she was determined to dig herself out of the hole that she found herself in. And she moved quickly. Did you realize that? She was moving quickly, building networks, thinking ahead, endlessly thinking ahead, different ideas, very positive. And so I thought that was a real strength, Teresa. In the middle, I thought there were moments when you could have just paused for effect, because you were in a very risky position. What, a brilliant looking young woman like you, what on earth were you going to do next? You really didn't know. So I think some dramatic pauses in the middle would have been useful. But I thought it was great. You fought your way out. I wasn't quite clear at the end what on earth you did do to move ahead. What was the place you found yourself in? So I think if you had a bit more time, or created a bit more time, you could have told us what happened to the job or the possibility of a job. But certainly, I loved your modesty, but also your enthusiasm. You were determined to smash your way ahead. You're a great speaker, and you made it also sound so lively. Great stuff.
Thank you, David, for stepping in and doing that snap evaluation. And for the interest of time, I am going to ask our timer if you can put the times into the chat. And with that, I am going to hand control over to our general evaluator. Oh my goodness, which is also our timer. So, John, it's on
Kathy,
you. Yes.
Kathy, John, I will be your timer during your session, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead.
I can verbally give the timing quicker than I can type it into the chat. Is that appropriate?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Michael, 152. Vicky, your follow-up with 44. ET, 217. Sandra, 111. Maritesh, 253. Vicky, number 2, 46. Teresa, 246. Phoebe, 52. David, 217. And with that, I believe I need to go to our first evaluator, and that will be Michael Schaefer, and he's evaluating Tamara. Thank you. Go, Michael.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Tamara. Ay, boy, am I thrilled to be your evaluator and to see this speech and to have one of my favorite things happen. You returned to a story. This is not the first time I've heard this moment. When you were organizing the event, and I thought, wow, this is a great way that Toastmasters can add something to their growth, which is to bring something back in a new version or in a version that's got a little more rehearsal under its belt. And so, fantastic. You also, in my humble opinion, accomplished the goals of finding a moment that was unexpectedly a fail, and then how did you deal with that? How did you come out of it and brought us a lesson at the end? You started out as a chaplain quote and brought it back at the end. So lovely bracketing. As always, so much warmth and terrific context as you set up the world of the event, and the energy that you always provide. It always feels like I'm more awake and more energized and more positive just in the way you deliver your speech. And of course, there were some rhymes in it too. And I thought, yeah, of course, that's you all over. That's your brand. I love it. And the fact that you could, with just a little bit of dialogue, capture a character like the son. I forget, was it Ivan? And then later on with a hat and reading off a clipboard, I thought, look at you, bringing characters into play, so many wonderful, wonderful things. How would I make this speech just that much better? I think I'm going back to one of my defaults. As you know, I'm always going to talk about story structure, and that I believe almost every communication should have a narrative or story structure. One of the things that I think would help is to start the content of this event with the problem, the mistaken choice of picking Ivan. If you can get that up front near the top and have some stakes between you and your partner and going, oh my gosh, we just made a big mistake. That's a great jump off point for the story. Now we feel some stakes. Now we feel an investment of like, oh, what's going to happen now that they've made this poor choice? And then we can get back into the context of what's going on. Maybe a little more rehearsal, just so that it is a little easier to come off the page so you can see it and have things flow a little bit more. The stakes could always be higher in terms of this event and whether or not it was emotionally hard or hard for you with politically within the event with all the people there. And then I think maybe tell Ivan's joke. If you can get away with it in this audience and just let it land in silence, which is the main problem, is the silence that is not creating a positive feel to the event. So hearing the joke and hearing no reaction might be very, very valuable. And loved your mascara not falling off on you. Great moments, little details like that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This evaluation was really balm to my heart. I like when some achievements are noticed and appreciated, and the suggestions are definitely food for the thought. I will think about it. The problem is I overdid a little bit with time, so to squeeze in something else probably wouldn't be possible, but I'll think maybe I'll trim it and replace. I'll work at it, I'll polish it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
now I'd like to call up John White to give us an evaluation of Trudy's speech. John?
Great. Thank you very much. It's an honor. I'm looking forward to evaluating you, Trudy. Just a real quick overview of the speech. You lived in a coastal town. It was bad for farming. You moved, you experienced nirvana, then religion came into your life. There was a solution, there was a happy ending, and everyone sang, God is good. That was the story arc. Trudy, I love the way you live your life. It's differently than me. I feel like you have a lot of experience. I can really learn a lot from how you're really involved with the earth and everything. As a storyteller, I'd like to give you some tips. I want to talk about the beginning. I want to talk about time management. I want to talk about homesteading. I want to tell about emotions. I want to find out what your husband's name is, because that would have been connected. So there's just simply not enough time. You started off with just sort of like, you connect with the land, the soil, talk about my family, Canada. Get to it. Just, and build up this tension and the emotion. You're so sweet. But when that church showed up and built that fence, that had to do something to you. So in telling the story, jump into it. Time management, you were 5 minutes into your speech before the conflict arose. And then homesteading. I gotta think, is it an economic choice? Is it just the joy of feeling the soils in your hand and know that you grew that? And then the bounty, which you would share with other people. And where was the human connection to see, wow, I'm not a gardener, but maybe I would put my hand in dirt if I could get some of that the Trudy has. I never felt fully invested in it. So I really want, as you tell the story, we love gardening, but we lived in this cloudy place and it was terrible. My husband was beside himself. Mention his name. I've been called a husband twice in my life and it didn't end well. Had they called me by my name, I might still be married. My point is, so we can connect to him. I do want to give you credit for time management. You did close within the 7 minutes. Going on has been a bit of an issue. Also, let's remember the objectives. It was about negotiating. When that big bad church came and wanted to have an aesthetically pleasing thing, what was said? How did you feel when they were threatening that lifestyle that you would have finally developed after moving from the coast? And what was said, was it back and forth? Was it contentious? And then the relief when it was resolved and you could go back, this community that you've invested in, that's become a really important part of your life. I would have liked that level of connection. So a little more personal, a little more story arc with the emotions and the frustration, and why homesteading. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, now I'd like to call up, please, Sandra. And Sandra, if you could give us a review of Victoria's speech, I appreciate it. Thank you.
First of all, I'm going to start with the ending. I got an assignment and I love it. I love that. You dove right in. You spoke to us, not at us. You were excited, but you weren't exuberant. It was the perfect tone for this type of speech. I understood the purpose of your speech. I'm going to do the homework, which is rare. I'm going to remember this speech for a long time to come. That's my judgment on a speech. Will I remember it tomorrow or next week or a year from now? You were kind of a provocateur, though. You were telling us that it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You should be more investigative when you're looking and using AI. And I had never thought of that. And it is a little bit on the scary side, as you mentioned. AI can be something you need to challenge. And that's going to linger with me for a long time. You also simplified very complex issues, topics, and you were so peaceful about it. It made me not get, tense and all stressed out. your speech was very easy to follow along. Your organization of the material was excellent. It didn't have my brain jumping around and thinking. It kept me on the same track with you so that I could understand and remember what to do. I loved the callback to Trudy. That was such a special touch, and that's an advanced speaker's touch. So good job there. And in general, I loved your speech. I don't have any recommendations. Your pauses were spot on. You gave us enough time to digest and put in the right part of our brain what we're supposed to do next or how to think. And you didn't come across as a know-it-all. You came across very credible. And you came across very clear. But I didn't feel I was being talked down to or, like I said earlier, at. So excellent speech. I see some earmarks of great speeches ahead. The writing was spectacular. And that, to me, is the base for any good speech. So thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, now I'd like to bring up some of our roles, and I believe we have Lynn. You're going to give us a little report on Word of the Day. And we are connecting with our roles right now. So Word of the Day, and Grammarian Report, and then on-camera report. Thank you, Lynn.
I am thrilled. I just have to tell you, I am thrilled to be part of this group. You are a remarkable group of people. Your language is fantastic. Now, some of the words that were used today, and I'll go back to connected afterwards, is a generational graduation, a royal wedding, hash out event. Tamara, your language is always very rich. Military appearance, meditating with eyes open, which is terrific, contagious. And Trudy, you use share our beauty, amicable resolution. Victoria, you are also a word junkie. AI hallucination, verbose, completely, utterly false. And endeavor to write, and creepy, cultivate mindfulness. John, you use wonderful words, contentious. Kathy, your connection with squirrels. Elios, okay, now going back to, I'm going to use the first. People do use even though you're all pretty good. And shockingly, Vicki, I expect never to use any. You had a couple. Michael, you have your language, I have to tell you something. You are a linguist. Your thought process is so rich. The way you describe things and you illuminate for everybody what has happened is so good, so that the little you speak rapidly. If you could slow down a little bit, and if you do, you won't use as a bookmark, because you have so much to say that we're all happy to hear it. I'm doing the same thing. Let's see. Victoria, I heard you're entitled. Your story was fantastic. Okay, here I go. Let's see. Elios, you had you had two connection. You used the word connection twice. Sandra, you used connection 2 times twice. Maritesh, you're going to be terrific with time. You had a number of but you're entitled because you're a beginner here, at least here, and you will get into using the story. David, okay, Sandra had once or twice. And then about the word connection. People didn't use it a lot, but Vicky used it twice. Trudy used it 4 times. Let's see, Victoria used it once. Anything else? Elios used it 2 times. Actually, Sandra used it 2 times. So we didn't reach 25. But I thought the overall language that's used with this group and the clarity of thinking and the actual stories are not good, they're fabulous. And I come away each time feeling that I have learned a great deal. And it's about how to shape a story and how to present it, and the structure, the emotion, the words, the gestures. It's amazing. So thank you all.
Thank you, Lynn. Now I'm going to connect back with my role as timer. And we have just one more category. We have evaluators. Michael, you were 313. John, you were 307. Sandy, you were 257. And now I guess I have to go on with my general. I have to confess that I have not been as attentive to this meeting throughout because of the timing role. But I love the fact we started right on time. Tamara, your poems are just brilliant. They add a wonderful vibrance to the meeting. It's really interesting to hear your language, your intonation, your expression. All of that makes a very, very wonderful start to the meeting. The word of the day, connection. We certainly did that, and we had the fall into excellent. We had what do we have? We had stuff about gardens, stuff about artificial intelligence, and creativity. And I add one more thing to the AI part. I think that hallucinations are really AI's process of becoming creative. And so I think that if we take that away, we'll lose the creative part of what AI can do. So that's the only thing that I would add to Victoria, to our AI expression. Outside of that, this meeting is fun. All of you are great. You're very expressive. I enjoy being here. And I think I've kind of run out of things to say. I didn't take as many notes as I would have liked to. But thank you all very much. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Victoria. Vicky.
Thank you, John. And I just want to say, this is the lesson of not taking on 2 jobs. Even, John, when you were GE, I said I'd be timer, and you continued to do the job. So let's remember that we need to fill these roles, and we need one person per role. What you did, John, I don't even know how you did what you did, but it was great. So now, before we close the meeting, I'm going to ask for feedback from our visitors. And E.T., I don't know why I already think you're a member. I'm sorry. I didn't even call on you at the beginning. E.T., what value did this meeting bring to you today?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. What value?
Okay, thank you. I would like to say this is a wonderful meeting. All of you are in the uniform with the virtual background. That's good. And in it, the masters of evaluation. It is indicate not only one who is the master, but all of us here. And yes, to have blessed to listen, to hear, and to be evaluated by this wonderful, not only speakers, but evaluators, it is a blessing. I hope my mom is here to hear me here, because yes, Mom, I love ice cream, but I love you more. Back to you.
Yeah, I love my mom more too. So thank you very much, E.T. Teresa, what value did this meeting bring to you today?
Holy cow. I have loved the evaluations in particular, and it makes sense that a club based on evaluations would give good evaluations, but also tough evaluations. I think that, iron sharpens iron. And so often evaluations, they take the easy route, the comfortable route, but that leaves the speaker at a disadvantage because then they can't improve. And so I love that you take it seriously and everybody was invested in providing great feedback. My only thing is I didn't know what snap meant. So I kept like, what is that? What is that? And I'm ChatGPT asking what snap meant. So anyway, that's helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. That's our fault. SNAP is an acronym that Sandra came up with. Sandra, don't ever forget to put in chat the SNAP evaluation sheet so people know. Thank you very much. And now, Finn, what value did this meeting bring? We're sorry we didn't hear from you today at today's meeting, but what value did the meeting bring? You're on mute.
There we go. I found it very interesting overall. I've never been on a Zoom Toastmasters meeting yet, and this is my first. I've only done in person. I'm very impressed, and I enjoyed the speeches and also the evaluation. And for me, it's about the different styles of evaluation I'm working on at the moment, trying to find my own style where I don't miss anything obvious, and I cover things that the speaker needs, because it's all about helping us to grow and develop. And I saw that and heard it this evening. So that's really good. It's the first. I didn't know what snap meant either, to be honest. But every day's a school day for me, since I've not done a Zoom meeting before, and I've really enjoyed it. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Finn. We appreciate it. And Phoebe, welcome to the meeting. And what value did our meeting bring to you today? And where are you from?
First of all, I'd like to thank DTM Sandra for inviting me to your meeting. I'm from Philippines. I'm traveling. I'm now in North Carolina. And I am so privileged to attend your meeting, which is so different, which I needed to shift my cognitive framework in terms of running a Toastmasters meeting. I did not expect the SNAP evaluation, but I guess I was stuck with the patterns that we used to have in table topics back in Philippines. We have table topics patterns that we utilized in order for us to respond to the questions. So there are several patterns we utilize in responding to the question. It depends on the question that is being asked. But here I see that we are freely thinking through and speaking what we have in mind. And the evaluations are just mixed up with the content and the delivery and the organization of the speech. So I believe that at home, we're more structured in the way we speak and the way we give evaluations. But here I see the free communication, and I appreciate the speeches delivered. I'm glad and thankful for the AI talk of Victoria. I was able to follow, and it's a reminder for me. I'm a nurse, I'm a psychologist, and to remember that doctors, how many % of them are utilizing AI in diagnosing the patient? That's really scary. And we fail to make use of our clinical diagnosis in order to assess the patient's condition. So a lot of things to learn from your club, and I'm grateful for the warm accommodation and welcome. Thank you for that. I wasn't able to get right away to give a SNAP evaluation for Tracy, and SNAP evaluation is new to me, and I'd love to bring it on with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Phoebe. It reminds me to do a better job explaining what we're doing here. So thank you for that feedback. And I'd like to open up a breakout room, Sandra, for our visitors to go with Trudy and ask any questions they have about the club. And while you set that up and move our visitors for a minute, we are over time, which is never good in my book. But I want to share the screen so that we can look at the agenda next time and get it filled. This makes a huge difference for our club. I'm going to officially close the meeting, and you're welcome to stay on to chat. I'll stay on for a little bit for our visitors to come back.